Hey guys, hopefully this is the last video I'm going to make about the meaning of the word atheism and this whole discussion or debate that's been going on recently. Now, I belong to the minority opinion that people who lack a belief in God cannot be considered atheists, and I'll explain why. First of all, let's start by saying that atheism is not really a binary system or a dichotomy with theism, like Bionic Dance likes to put it. Now, she says that because atheist has the suffix a to it, it means that it's anything that's not a theist. But atheist, not like the other counterparts, such as apolitical or asexual. Apolitical means I'm staying out of it. I don't choose either side because I'm completely uninterested in what either side has to show me, or simply that I don't have any opinion on the matter. That would make you apolitical. It has a lot to do in common with asexual, which means on the scale of attraction from females to males, I do not stand anywhere on that scale. I do not lean towards any gender. I'm not attracted to any gender at all. While atheism can mean I strongly disbelieve in God. A person who strongly disbelieves in God is an atheist. So this is obviously choosing a side here, and a strong form of that side. And so another way why I think that atheism and theism are not really a dichotomy or a binary system is because, sorry about that, in order for atheism and theism to be a binary system, then not only anything that is not a theist will be an atheist, but also anything that is not an atheist will be a theist. And that's just not true. If you're not an atheist, there's a variety of things you can be. You can be a Buddhist, a igtheist, a theist, a pantheist, a deist, and really, I mean, there's probably dozens of more positions that are not atheist and are not theist either. So that's as far as the dichotomy or binary system goes. Even though Bionic Dance in a comment to me did argue that Buddhists are atheists, but okay, forget about that for a moment. It all boils down to the question, does God exist in your opinion? If you answer yes, then you're a theist. If you answer no, then you're an atheist. So, answering no, by answering God does not exist, you are making a positive claim. So, why is it that the whole term lack a belief in God was invented, rather than the more popular understanding of the word atheist meaning a disbelief in God? Well, lately, a lack of belief in God has become somewhat more popular to define atheism, and I think it is all due to shifting of the burden of proof. Atheists who do not want to have the burden of proof on them would say that they lack a belief in God. But even those who say that they lack a belief in God, deep down in their heart, they believe that God does not exist. I mean, the vast majority of atheists, I'm not going to be completely generalizing, but from my personal experience and from the atheists I know, which is a lot, most of them believe that God does not exist. It's not that they lack a belief in God. It's just a cowardly way to try to avoid the burden of proof, in my opinion. But if truth is on your side, what are you afraid of exactly? I mean, so what if you have the burden of proof on you? Then go ahead, try to be not intellectually lazy, and try to actually come up with good arguments for the non-existence of God. Because that's basically what atheists argue. They argue for either the non-existence of God by proving the Bible wrong about the existence of God, or other kind of arguments that make the idea of God in the first place impossible or illogical. So, lacking a belief in God is basically taking a neutral standpoint. Okay, so how do you avoid the burden of proof by saying that you lack a belief in God? Well, you must not make any positive claims. So, in order for you to not make any positive claims and lack a belief in God, you also need to lack a belief that God does not exist. Not only do you need to lack a belief in the existence of God, but you also need to lack a belief that God does not exist. That's the only way that you would be excused from the burden of proof, and that would also make you completely neutral. Not on either side of this question, does God exist? So, if you're completely in the middle, and you require evidence in order to shift your opinion towards either side, then not only are you not an atheist or a theist, I think you are a skeptic. Regarding this question, you are a skeptic. Skeptics require evidence before they can make up their mind about something. That makes perfect sense to me, that lack of belief in God is more closely related to skepticism than it is to atheism. This position of lacking a belief in God seems completely absurd to me. Because what do you mean you lack a belief in God? If you're an atheist and you make fun of theists for believing in God, you believe that God does not exist. This idea of a supernatural creator for the universe that controls everything or doesn't control anything. Either way, the belief in this imaginary being is so absurd to you that you disbelieve in him the same way that you disbelieve in the tooth fairy. Now, that's why I think that people who lack a belief in God should be considered skeptics and not atheists. Atheism and theism should only be the two dividing, the two different opinions, the two different answers to the question, does God exist in your opinion? Which is a yes and no question. So that pretty much clears what I think about this topic. I know that most people do not agree with the way I see things, but please try to actually bring arguments that would... I don't really intend on making many more videos about this topic because it's been going on long enough, but if you do have interesting counter-arguments as to why defining things the way I just described is unreasonable or illogical, then let me know in the comments section or video responses. If you make valid points which I feel compelled to respond to, I will make another video. And have an awesome day, guys.